Wicked for Good isn't just taking over the box office. Today, it's taking over our studio. Fresh off a 4-H campaign that's inviting Vermont youth and adults to channel their inner Elphaba and engage in acts of kindness and community service. We're hitting the high notes today on Across the Fence. Hello, Vermont. If you haven't yet been swept up in Wicked Mania, now's as good a time as any to start. Part 2 of the blockbuster movie, a retelling of the Wizard of Oz story, centers a fight against the injustices of Oz. It also features an anthem of resistance that's become so iconic, when you hear its thrilling final notes, you're ready to join the resistance. Or maybe 4-H? My guests today are going to help weave that plot line together for us. Moonshine Shorey is a UVM Extension 4-H educator for Rutland and Bennington counties. James Shorey is his nephew, an actor and aspiring singer who's part of the Rutland Performing Arts 4-H Club. Moonshine and James, welcome.
Hello.
So glad to have you guys here today. Have you seen the movie yet? Have you already gone?
Well, no, we haven't gone yet.
Okay, you're anticipating.
We had tickets this afternoon, but we'll see if we'll get there or not.
Okay, and I will say that we are recording this in advance, so this is happening like toot sweet before Thanksgiving here. You guys are going to go and see it.
Yes.
Yay, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to hear what your reactions to it are. Such a great show. I'm also going to do a little bit of plot recap to help bring everybody up to speed, not necessarily on the movie, but about how we're talking today. We're talking about a movie, so that feels like fair game, right? Do a recap. So, 4-H is an amazing values-focused organization, and nationally they've been running a campaign called Beyond Ready that highlights the way 4-H membership builds the sort of character required to tackle the challenges of a changing world. Very resonant with the themes in Wicked for Good. Also, the color green is a big deal for both, so a membership drive begins to say, hey, if Wicked inspires you to want to do good in the world, you would probably get a lot out of 4-H. Does that sound about right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. All right, so James, you started singing the music from Wicked well before this, but stars aligned, right? And you were performing this at regionals, at state day, etc., made it all the way to the Big E, right, while the campaign was coming together. And I think that's sort of how 4-H National discovered you and in part helped bring you to our attention. So tell us about performing Defying Gravity. We heard a little bit there at the top. At the Big E. That's a big deal.
Yeah, so performing Defying Gravity at the Big E was sort of a necessity for me, because it was just one of the first songs I've ever heard from musicals in general. And
yeah. So how did it feel to be on that stage? Were you nervous?
At first I was very nervous, because this was I had to do the song right. It was a very big spot to fill in for 4-H.
But you'd had some practice, because you did it at regionals and you did it at state as well. Did it feel like every time that you performed the song you grew in your confidence?
Absolutely. Every time I performed, I felt myself, in a way, my back straightening, and I could feel my head being held higher.
Yeah.
And it just brought me so much confidence just to talk and sing that song.
Well, you really see it when you watch James perform it, and so we wanted to be sure. So now a big part of Defying Gravity, I promised you those thrilling final notes. So are you ready to hear him nail the big crescendo? I think this is from the Big E, right?
Correct.
All right, so we're gonna watch for a moment here. We're gonna take a look and watch your hit those high notes.
Nobody in all of us, no wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring me down. Bring me down.
I mean, chills, right? That's really impressive. Those notes I mean, it's such an iconic refrain from that musical, from that show, and you just absolutely killed it. That was fantastic. What did it feel like to do that at the Big E?
Well, it felt exhilarating. It felt, I felt myself get chills.
Yeah.
And it
Like
was.
you were going to levitate right off the
I
stage.
felt like I was just going to float right off the stage.
I love that. Well, how did musicals lead you to 4-H?
Well, ever since I was young, I've always loved music. And when I heard they did performances with music, and that's their main thing, I was like, sign me up.
Uh-huh.
And some inspiration, some musicals that inspired me were Hamilton, Wicked, Heathers.
Oh, great show.
Great show.
I think, did I hear too, now was there a fellow performer in a musical that you were in who herself was a part of 4-H, and that's how you first heard about 4-H?
Yes. My friend Adeline, she was in a show that she was in Beauty and the Beast with me.
Okay.
And she told me, oh, I would love you to join my group, or my mom's group with 4-H.
Which was a performing arts club, right? Which is not necessarily something that we think of when we think of 4-H, right? And I think that's pretty cool, because this is in part how then eventually you come into the story, right, Mooney?
Yeah, it's the only performance art 4-H club in New England, and it's located in Rutland, Vermont. Yeah, I had brought James. He was at a summer camp, and that summer camp was going to be doing a production of Beauty and the Beast in the fall. So I bring him to the audition, and they said, why don't you come in too and audition with him? It'll help with nerves. I didn't realize that was a hook to get cast in the musical. So I got cast in Beauty and the Beast, and I met Bethany White, who is the club. And she actually, after it was done, she's like, wow, these kids are having, maybe she had a horse background. I was like, I think I want to start a performing arts one. And I said, all right, and so James joined it then.
Yeah, well, and that's really great, because like I said, we think of 4-H. I mean, we've had 4-Hers on the show before, of course, and talking about what it means to start a relationship with animals and agriculture. But this aspect, I mean, I think this helps show that 4-H really has a lot of facets, and that it can do a lot of things for all kinds of kids. You don't have to live on a farm. You don't have to live rural. Yeah. What did you love about your 4-H club?
I really love the people in 4-H. I love spending time with my friends. I like to specifically go to the Big E with them. And after you perform and do your show, you would get to hang out around the whole park.
Yeah.
And I think if it weren't for 4-H, I would have never met those people, and I wouldn't be who I am today.
What are your 4-H club meetings like? Do you sit around and sing? Do you practice? Do you put on performances?
We plan out what we're going to do in future, like regionals, states, the Big E. And then we would practice for half an hour, and we mainly plan what's going to happen. So we know not to do anything last minute, and just really set up what we're going to do.
Well, it's interesting, because I said that this campaign is called Beyond Ready, and that really, so you can see how that's something that they are coaching you through, right? Your 4-H experience is helping you do things like plan, organize, right? All of these life skills that we need our younger generations to grow in order to take on leadership roles in, like they said, this very changing world. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your club, or your involvement in Bennington and Rutland counties.
Well, I after James joining the 4-H club, I had worked with the Rutland County Pride Center, and the educator before had found out and wanted to know if I would be interested in joining the Rutland Foundation. So I ended up joining the Rutland Foundation and being a part of that. And then they needed help at the fair, at the Vermont State Fair. So I took a 3-week contract that turned into a 3-month contract that came into the full-time position.
The slippery slope of 4-H, yes.
They get their claws in you and pull you right in.
Well, and that sounds like is true for the adult experience in 4-H, right? I mean, there's lots of different levels of involvement. There's lots of different ways to become involved. And you might start out, just sort of snacking on 4-H, and then eventually now you're running an entire county.
Yeah, the reason that I had gotten onboarded as a volunteer was because there was not a male chaperone in the state of Vermont that could go down with the male performers or people that were doing in the Big E. So I thought it was a one-time thing. Okay, I'll onboard as a volunteer, but I'm just doing this one shot to help out, to let him be able to go down and perform. And I thought that would be it, but the world had other ideas.
Well, that's an important thing right now. Like, as 4-H is growing and changing as an organization, bringing in more facets of youth involvement, performing arts, robotics, we're hearing all these different things about it. We need more adults to get involved in 4-H, right?
Absolutely. If you have the time, talent, or a trade that you want to show, we want you. And whether it's helping out one day at the fair, Big E, or taking on a club because you have a passion, we want you. We have a space for you, no matter what you can bring.
Are there any big, interesting things happening down in Rutland and Bennington counties?
Well, we're lucky. We have the Vermont State Fair that'll be in August, and then in March we have our regionals that goes on to State Day that will be in Burlington this year in May. Yeah, we're working on spin clubs too, which are smaller and more specialized. So you, instead of like the year-round, you might come for just a few weeks and learn some cosplay. You might have to learn how to do a sourdough starter. You might learn how to do some. So it wouldn't be a full year, but you just come in and you learn one type of thing in a very short time. So people that might not want to join a club for the whole year, they still get the 4-H experience in a little shorter time. And we want to be able to offer that to all Vermonters.
Yeah, so you can get all of the growth, but you can also kind of choose your own adventure through the club.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great.
We have so many different clubs. We have horse, sewing, dog, shooting sports, performing arts, and always wanting to add to the diversity that we can offer these youth.
That's fantastic. James, what is next for you in
Well,
your singing life, in your growing, budding career?
Well, right now I am working with Rutland Youth Theater, and they are doing a showing of Matilda Jr. as I am Mr. Wormwood, Matilda's dad.
I can see it. That's be perfect. Okay. Yeah. How's that going?
It's going really well. The show is going to be at the Paramount Theater in Rutland this December 12th and 13th.
Okay.
And
so if you heard that, if you are in the Rutland area, you might want to grab tickets for that show, okay? And do you want to tell us anything else about the performance?
well,
Do you have any iconic numbers like this? Do you have any great notes that you get to hit?
Actually, I don't sing at all.
Oh no!
Get to use his acting chops.
Yeah, well there you go. Get to use your acting chops. Okay, well James and Mooney, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm wishing you all the best in your performance. Break a leg, I guess would be the correct thing to say. Thank you guys for coming and talking to us about 4-H. And as always, Vermont, thank you for learning and exploring with me today. And thanks to the team that makes Across the Fence possible. I'm Amy Finley. This is Across the Fence. Come back and let's learn and explore again tomorrow.